Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Cowboys Tyron Smith future, surprise, prediction earns golden sombrero. The latest attempt to report on something in a bold and surprising way regarding the Dallas Cowboys guides an NFL insider to evaluate the future of Hall of Fame level tackle Tyron Smith, and in honor of the World Series champion Texas Rangers, will utilize a baseball term to describe it. ESPN has just struck out 4 times in one outing and has thus earned the golden sombrero. ESPN's Dan Graziano breathlessly informs us, behind a paywall, that he believes Tyron is nearing his career's end as the writer labels Smith among his surprise NFL offseason cut/trade candidates. Surprise? Not to any Cowboys fan who has been paying just a little bit of attention. The 4 strikeouts that give ESPN its golden sombrero? Let's swing away. Graziano explains to us that the tackle's 8-year, $98 million contract expires at the end of the season, using this as a signal that Tyron could consider retirement after 2023, which Cowboys Nation also knows. This isn't news. ESPN writes, he is about to be 33 and has had a tough time staying on the field in recent years. Noting this is neither surprising or bold. Many Cowboys fans can recite by rote the fact that Smith has missed significant time in 4 straight seasons, including being sidelined 13 games in 2022, and is struggling to stay healthy this year as well. This isn't news. The insider piece politely explains to us that Dallas drafted Tyler Smith in the first round in 2022 to replace Tyron. Yup. You've known that since April 2022, with Tyler largely playing left guard, at a very high level, as he waits for the likely shift. Not news. In an ironic twist, ESPN wrote its goodbye note to Tyron on the eve of Dallas' tight loss at Philadelphia, a game that featured some actual insight regarding Tyron. Revealed 4th-year Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, "That's the Tyron Smith I remember. That's the best game I've seen Tyron play since I've been here in my time here in Dallas." Meaning? ESPN's door-closing insight is at the least ill-timed. I don't play fantasy. Coach Mike McCarthy defends Dallas Cowboys offense. The Dallas Cowboys have finally gotten the production they've been waiting for, and then some, from star receiver CeeDee Lamb. In the past 2 weeks, he's generated 349 receiving yards, nearly lapping the rest of his production, and it's clear the bye week was a catalyst for his involvement in the Texas Coast offense. Ultimately, it wasn't enough on Sunday, as the Cowboys fell in excruciating fashion to the Philadelphia Eagles. The 28-23 loss saw Dallas increase Lamb's target share but found tight end Jake Ferguson and receiver Jalen Tolbert targeted heavily, too. The 3 combined for targets on 31 of quarterback Dak Prescott's 44 attempts. Curiously, veteran receiver Brandon Cooks saw just 2 targets. It was another underwhelming performance in what will likely be the least productive season of his career. Cooks has been practically invisible in the box score all season. Whether that's a consequence of turning 30, a schematic breakdown on the part of head coach Mike McCarthy, or just an unfortunate stretch of variance is yet to be disentangled. But fans who were excited about the 6-time 1,000-yard receiver wanted answers as to why he's not seeing the football. I don't play fantasy football, McCarthy said. We have game plans, our system is built on making the quarterback successful. That's the way this passing game is taught. It's the way I've learned it. It's the way it has always been the last 30 years. We'll argue that his response to perceived resource mismanagement was unnecessary. It was a page out of Atlanta Falcons head coach Arthur Smith's playbook, citing fantasy football as some satanic entity meant to question his ability to call plays. Smith has been dismissive of those wondering why the Falcons' trio of top 10 selections on offense, including rookie Bijan Robinson, lack the opportunities other teams give their stars. While Cooks no longer demands star-level opportunities, posting just 2 targets, for 1 catch and 7 yards, is concerning. Especially when Prescott's 374 passing yards meant there were plenty of opportunities to look his way. On a pivotal 4th down late in the Week 9 loss, Cook seemingly wasn't a part of the progression. Prescott opted for receiver Jalen Tolbert, which may not have been the wrong read, and ultimately turned the ball over on downs. Tolbert had been pushing Cooks and receiver Michael Gallup for snaps in recent weeks. McCarthy went on to defend Cook's presence, even though it isn't showing up in the form of receptions and yards after the catch. He was a big part of the production, he said. We had a tremendous amount of production in the pass game and Brandon and all the guys are a part of that. I get it. So, what happened? Nothing happened, McCarthy responded, with more prickliness. But when you throw 374 yards and you got to come in here and answer questions about someone not getting the ball, I mean, come on, I don't think that's a real evaluation. Cooks is yet to top 50 yards in a game this season and has just 17 catches for 165 yards and 2 scores through a half season's worth of games. It hasn't been pretty and is perhaps justified ground for Tolbert to soak up snaps. But when you come up short against a division rival, the players that are expected to make plays are going to draw the attention. The veteran receiver will have a chance to have his first big game as a Cowboy in Week 10 against the lowly New York Giants. And McCarthy will have a chance to show off the difference between real football and the fantasy variety. Cowboys urged to sign power rusher to potentially replace Tony Pollard. The Dallas Cowboys could soon seek a replacement for starting running back Tony Pollard. As suggested by Bleacher Report's NFL staff, the Cowboys should consider signing Chicago Bears running back D'Onta Foreman in free agency during the 2024 offseason. With Pollard and backup running back Rico Dowdle hitting free agency next offseason, Dallas may be forced to seek a replacement. Considering Foreman's strength is power running, he could be an ideal fit for a team that is struggling in red zone and short yardage situations this season. They drafted a good pass-catching back in Deuce Vaughn this past April, but the team could use a power rusher like Foreman. That's what the Texas native and former Longhorn is, and while he isn't getting much playing time this season as the Bears' third running back, he was averaging 4.5 yards per carry this season heading into Sunday. Furthermore, with Foreman having mostly played a backup role in Chicago this season, he can be signed to a bargain deal. The 27-year-old is merely playing under a 1-year, $2 million deal. According to Spotrac, his market value is a projected $2.8 million next season. Running backs Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle are impending free agents. Granted, Dowdle will be a restricted free agent, so Dallas is likely going to have to replace at least one of them while bargain hunting on the open market. For context, Spotrac currently estimates the organization to start the offseason over the cap. Foreman has 65 carries for 287 yards on 4.4 yards per carry this season. His signature game this season came in a start for injured backs Khalil Herbert and Roscoe Johnson in a Week 7 win over the Las Vegas Raiders when he ran for 89 yards on 5.6 yards per carry to go along with 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. He most recently led the Bears with 20 carries for 83 rushing yards against the New Orleans Saints. Meanwhile, Pollard has been productive in a starting role this season. Following the departure of former franchise back Ezekiel Elliott, the 26-year-old back has 474 rushing yards on 4.0 yards per carry and 29 receptions, third on the team, and ranked 7th in the NFL with 149 total touches. Along with the fact that Pollard has essentially carried the Cowboys' rushing attack without a true number 2, Rico Dowdle is second on the team with 35 carries. He's also been durable, starting all 8 games while playing on 71% of the offensive snaps. However, he may also be seeking a big payday, something that the Cowboys may not be willing to offer him. Dallas slapped the $10.1 million franchise tag on Pollard instead of signing him to a long-term deal after releasing Elliott. According to Spotrac, Pollard's market value is $6.6 million per year across 3 years for a total of $20 million. While the deal isn't unreasonable, it would make Pollard the 11th highest paid back in the league. The Cowboys may seek a bigger, cheaper, and more efficient back in the red zone. And you fan, what do you think of the Tony Pollard situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.